It's so rare to be watching what we're seeing in the NBA with the MVP convo. I ain't gonna lie to you, because Shai is having one of the greatest seasons of all time, and Jokic also is having one of the greatest seasons of all time. But naturally, at the end of the day, somebody gotta win and somebody gotta lose. And unfortunately, some of y'all just ain't gonna like my answer to this question.
Hey.
Put that on that beat. Nope.
There's been so much debate about these two and what's the true meaning of an MVP in the NBA. I mean, Michael Malone even pitched in with his own opinion, and I ain't gonna lie, it was some dick eating.
My thing is this, if you didn't know that Nikola won 3 MVPs, and I put player A and player B on paper, and you had no idea that the guy who's averaging a triple-double, the guy who's top 3 in the 3 major statistical categories, things that no one's ever done, he wins the MVP 10 times out of 10. And if you don't think so, I think you guys are all full of shit.
Some are gonna see that clip and think he's just riding his own player, and to be fair, he is. He's swallowing the shit out of that motherfucker. But at the end of the day, he's gonna big up his own player. I ain't gonna hate on him for that. But I will say, to act as if Shai is not in the conversation is ridiculous to me, because that's what he did. He basically dismissed Shai's case just to big up Jokic's case. And I feel like in this conversation, people are just boiling it down to the Oklahoma City Thunder without Shai versus the Nuggets without Jokic. And I feel like that is just such a disingenuous way to look at the MVP award, especially this season. Don't get me wrong, Jokic is having a phenomenal year. The man is averaging damn near a 30-point triple-double on efficiency that's just through the roof as a center. The shit is ridiculous, truly. And when you look at that team, they've gone through so many ups and downs with that roster, with the way they've played. They've had to rely more on some of the younger guys on the bench like Peyton Watson and Strother. They've been pretty inconsistent all season long. No shit. Remember the Dario Saric minutes that were happening earlier in the year? Yeah, that nigga sucks too. Aaron Gordon's loss was a huge blow to this team. He has missed a huge chunk of games so far this season. I think he's played less than like 50 games. And you talk about inconsistency, the point guard position for the Nuggets has been filled with that. Westbrook has had his highs, but he also has had his lows this year. And the same thing applies to Jamal Murray. Even though he's been great as of late, he started off the season pretty up and down. The one constant for the Denver Nuggets that has kept them as a top 3 seed in the Western Conference, on pace to win over 50 games again, it's Nikola Jokic. I completely understand that. And it is true. If you take Jokic off that team, the Nuggets are nowhere near where they are right now, obviously. They're falling out of the playoffs. The way he elevates those around him is truly something we have never seen before from an offensive perspective. The amount of attention he gets on the court, the way he sees the court with his vision. We obviously know he's a great rebounder, one of the best in the league. He can score in the post, in the mid-range, at the rim, behind the three-point line, at the free throw line. There's nothing Jokic really can't do offensively, which is why I think he's in the conversation for the greatest offensive player of all time. He's only cemented himself in that conversation this season. But here's the issue I have with this conversation. People are looking at the team surrounding Jokic and SGA and acting like SGA isn't elevating his team to a historic level, which should have some weight in this conversation. Because when you look at what SGA is doing, sure, he isn't averaging a triple-double. I get that. But I'm not expecting him to go out there and average 12 fucking rebounds a game. He's a guard. Jokic is a 6'10" big. Let's be serious here. But what we need to give him credit for is the man is averaging nearly 33 points a game, leading the league in scoring, while shooting 52% from the field. And he's also knocking down 2 threes a game at a 37% clip and is shooting 90% from the free throw line. He is 3% off from his 3-point percentage from a 50-40-90 season. I just don't think people understand how ridiculous that is. When's the last time we've seen a guard be this efficient as a 30-point per game scorer? You gotta go back to 2016 MVP Steph Curry. Unanimous MVP Steph Curry. The only one, I should add. That is the levels that we're talking about with SGA this season. He's having an all-time great year from any player, but especially from a guard. And we're talking about numbers. SGA is still averaging 2 steals a game, a block a game, 6 assists and 5 rebounds. The man is still filling out the box score in great ways for somebody at his position. And at the end of the day, say what you want about all the other aspects of basketball. I understand the importance of playmaking. I understand understand the importance of rebounding, but scoring is the most important thing here. That's the whole point of the sport, to put the ball in the hoop. And unlike Nikola Jokic, who this year defensively I think has been pretty mediocre, at times even bad because of his effort just completely lacking on that side of the ball, SGA has been a great defender this year. The steals and blocks, they speak for itself, but even just the eye test, sure, you have other guys on that team that defensively are better than him. I completely understand that, but that doesn't take away the efforts that SGA is putting on that side of the ball. The man is one of the best help defenders in the league. Because of his length and size off the ball, he provides a lot of value, and his ability as a weak side shot blocker, you don't see that from too many guards. And that leads me to this OKC team without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't see how people say that if you take Shai off this team, they are still a playoff team. I completely disagree, especially for this season. I mean, what are you motherfuckers even watching? I mean, look at all the injuries on this OKC roster. Chet has missed majority of the season due to an injury he suffered in the beginning of the year. Same thing with Isaiah Hartenstein. He missed like the first month of the season and overall has missed over 20 games. Same thing applies to Alex Caruso. He's only played like 45 games this season. And hell, look at what's happening right now with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are on a 6-game winning streak and J-Dub hasn't played any of those games. And during this 6-game winning streak they're on right now, they have beaten 4 playoff teams. They've beaten Detroit. They've beaten Milwaukee. They've beaten the Clippers. And if that's not enough for you, they also beat the Boston Celtics without J-Dub. Throughout all of the ups and downs this roster has seen with their lack of availability in supporting pieces, who's been the constant of this team? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It don't matter if you throw J-Dub out there, the backup J-Dub, Cason Wallace, Alex Caruso, Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein, he's gonna make it work regardless of who's on the court with them. And that's proven with the fact that they are on pace to win over 65 games and potentially 70. Shai is taking a team that if he was not there, they would be out the playoffs this season. Versus now with him being there, they are an all-time historic team. They're top 5 in points per game. They're top 3 in offensive rating. They're second in opponents' points per game. And they are number 1 in defensive rating. Whether this team wins a championship or not, this is one of the greatest regular seasons that we have ever seen a franchise have. And only one of their major players has been a part of it from beginning till end. This guy. No, not Aaron Wiggins, my nigga. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, some Jokic nut huggers like my boy Swiper are gonna hear that and say, hey, you're still being disingenuous, okay? The Thunder still have a better supporting cast, even despite the guys missing games. Their bench is much better than a team like the Denver Nuggets who are struggling with inconsistency on theirs. Guys like Cason Wallace, Kenrich Williams, and Isaiah Joe, they really just moved the needle, bro. And let's say I give you this argument. What do you think the Oklahoma City Thunder are without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander if everybody else played for a full season? Which is unrealistic, but I'll give it to you. Let's say everybody plays 82 games for a full year. Where do you think the OKC Thunder are ending up by the end of the season? I mean, let's look at these teams in the West. Are they better than the Rockets? No. Are they better than the Nuggets? No. Are they better than the Lakers? No. Are they better than the Grizzlies? No. Are they better than the Warriors? No. Are they better than the Timberwolves, Clippers, Kings? No. And they are so lucky the Dallas Mavericks have suffered the worst luck of fate because they'd be worse than them too. The best possible scenario is we're talking about a play-in team hovering around the 8 to 10 seed, maybe 11th seed fighting to get in. And you may say to yourself, that's still better than what the Nuggets are without Nikola Jokic, and I say, yeah, it probably is. But here's the issue with that argument. What do you think is more impressive or more valuable? A guy who takes a team that would be at the bottom of the conference and makes them a really good team in the conference? Or someone who takes a team that would be a play-in team without him to being an all-time great team with him? It's very similar to the conversation people had between Steph Curry and James Harden in 2015. James Harden's box score was clearly better than Steph Curry really all across the board outside of efficiency, more points, rebounds, and assists. Meanwhile, Steph Curry, he was averaging less points. I don't even think he cracked 25 points a game, but the difference between both of them was very simple. Steph was elevating a team to all-time great status, meanwhile James Harden was just elevating a team to good status in the Western Conference. Sure, Steph's team was in a better position if he didn't play versus James Harden, but that speaks more to the impact of the players around them versus the impact of the players that you're actually talking about. Because it's always going to be more valuable to lift your team to all-time great status versus lifting your team to great status in the conference. And that's what I think about the SGA versus Nikola Jokic conversation. Jokic is great, and if he won the MVP, I'm not gonna get mad. He's having an MVP caliber season. But my issue with these Jokic nut huggers is that they're acting like Shai isn't even in the ballpark of him. I get it, he's averaging a triple-double. I get it, he's playing with inconsistent players on the team. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gotta go out there with great players like Hassan Wallace, great guys like Kenrich Williams, and great players like Dylan Jones. But the man's the league leading scorer on 52% shooting from the field and is leading his team to potentially winning 70 games. An all-time great regular season, not only from an individual perspective, but from the impact on the team's perspective. I don't give a fuck about what your net on-off swings are saying, but my MVP of this season is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.